Hey everyone, I'm here with a quick guide for Duke Sucellus, one of the new bosses from Desert Treasure 2. This quest just came out yesterday. It's great, you should do it if you haven't. But I wanted to say that as a disclaimer because this boss is still new. We don't have official stats or drop rates. So this, the best strat could change in the future. But this is what I've been using and it's been working really well for me. Alright, so for gear, you're just going to want your best melee offensive gear. Defense does not matter that much, so just go for max DPS. Now for your actual weapon, you're gonna want a good slash weapon. But this boss is, I believe, 70% susceptible to Demon Bane. So that means Arclight is actually really good against him. But I've also tested the Fang on Slash, and that works really well. If you have neither of those, you could use a whip. But for learners, I recommend using Arclight unless you really don't want to spend the charges. Now for your inventory, bring a spec weapon if you have it, specifically the Bandos Godsword. This boss is weak to slash, so BGS lands a lot more than like a Dragon Warhammer, for example. You're gonna want some prayer pots if you're just trying to get your first kill during the quest or after. 2 prayer pots is probably plenty. I like bringing 4 or more just to get really long trips. And then if you're learning, just bring 1 stamina. Otherwise, you'll probably want 2. And bring a super combat. And then for the rest of your inventory, you're going to want high healing food. With the method we're doing, you won't take much rapid damage. So you don't really need combo eats. So I wouldn't worry about Karambuan unless you're just, learning and want that little extra cushion. So yeah, I'm bringing anglerfish just for maximum healing per inventory. And then you're going to want to teleport there, probably the icy basalt, and a teleport out. I also have the Ring of Shadows. You get that from the quest. And once you get, a certain number of KC here, you might get the frozen tablet. You can use that tablet on the Ring of Shadows to unlock a teleport, basically right to the boss. But if you're just starting out, just buy an icy basalt. They're, 1 or 2k on the GE. Or you can make your own if you're in iron. Just mine some of the salts under Weiss and make one. All right, so I'm going to teleport. This is pretty much the same route as if you were going to farm the Phantom Muspa. So you're going to teleport to Weiss and cross this little boulder and then go through this fence. Once you're through the fence, go down the stairs and into the cave. You'll run past everyone mining. Okay. And once you're in the cave, you would normally hang a right here to do Muspa, but we're just going to go straight, hang through this door, and enter the heavy door. If you do have the Ring of Shadows, that will teleport you like right here. So open this gate. People like to close it sometimes. And go through the heavy door, and you will be right in front of the boss. Now, before we go into the boss room, I want to explain the fight a little bit. So every single time you fight Duke, you have to do a prep phase. So there's prep and then the actual fight. So I have some tiles marked here. These tiles are safe spots from these extremities. And then these tiles are where we'll be standing during the actual fight. So to begin the fight, once you walk in, you got to get a pestle and mortar. And then you're going to have to make your way up and down past these extremities to these ardor mushrooms. You need to pick 2 of them. Then you're going to grind them up in the pestle and mortar, which will give you 12 ardor powder or whatever. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side with these musca mushrooms. Once you're done with that, you should have 12 ardor powder and 12 musca powder. Then you're going to grab this pickaxe or bring your own. This pickaxe is pretty slow, but it's free and it's here. So I just use this. You're going to mine the salt deposit twice. That will give you 12 salt powder or whatever. Once you have 12 of all 3 things, you're going to click on this fermentation vat, and that will put half of it in this one. And then you're going to run over here and do the same thing on this one. And then by the time you do this, this one should be just finishing up its brewing, so you can run back here and grab it, and then grab from here. So once that's done, you'll have 2 potions, and then you can use both potions on the boss to start the fight. So I'll walk in and do the prep now, and then I'll explain the boss fight when we get there. All these tile markers I will post in the description or wherever I share this video. So I brought too much food, so I'll drop it here. You can see it lasts for half an hour, so you have plenty of time. So it's not going to despawn. I got my pestle and mortar. Okay, before I walk up here, you can see a few things. These extremities are lighting up. They're putting out like a searchlight, kind of like a security camera in a stealth game. And then also there are these shadows appearing on the ground. After a while, they do this little animation. If you're on one of them, when they do that animation, it stuns you for several ticks, and you take 10 to 15 damage. The damage isn't a huge deal, but if you are stunned when you're in front of one of these extremities, that makes it more likely that you're cut out. So when they do that red light, if you're in front of them when that happens, you will take 60 plus damage. So if you get caught by one of these shadows and get caught by the extremity, that's easy, 70 to 80 damage. So you want to avoid that. So the strat here, just stand on one of these tiles at the beginning that I marked. They're safe. And once all three light up, you can just run down to the end. You need to avoid the shadows on the ground, but otherwise it's guaranteed safe. These things always go back to back to back. So regardless of what order they're doing, you can just wait for all three to go and then you can easily run to the other side. So 1, 2, 3. Now I can just run down here. I dodge these shadows. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the other side. I'll crush up these mushrooms while I'm running. I have 12 ardor powder. And you can either make your way carefully, or you can wait for all three and run across, like I said earlier. I'll grab 2 muska mushrooms. All 3 have gone, so I can run across. So I have 12 of both powders. Now I get this pickaxe here, and I'm going to mine some salt. Now, only during prep, these grids on the floor can throw up acid. So when that happens, if you're in it, you'll take a little bit of damage. So just try to dodge that. So I have 6 Sucellus salt. Now I have 12, so I can run to either of the vats. I'll click on it. See that bar, so it's starting to brew. Now I can get this one. And this one. Okay, so I have 2 ardor musca poisons. I'll leave my food here for now. I can pick that up later. If you're trying to get your first kill when you're struggling, grab your food, but whatever. I'm gonna stand here. This is a safe spot from this poison, but this isn't. You don't stand on this tile during the actual fight. So I have these 2 tiles marked. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna stand directly behind this pillar, and once the fight starts, every time he attacks, you're just gonna walk out, attack him, and walk back. You can either watch for when his hands slam the ground, or you can listen for the sound, or the easiest way, and the one I recommend, watch for the white dust cloud that gets kicked up around him. When you see white clouds, just click on him and then click back. That's all you have to do. If you're using Fang, it's 5 tick instead of 4, so the timing is a little more precise. Arclight gives you a little bit of wiggle room, but either weapon works fine. So you're going to just keep doing that the whole fight. And then periodically, every 6 attacks, he's going to open up his mouth and a big eye is going to come out. It's going to be kind of similar to what these extremities do. So if you are out when that animation finishes, you will take massive damage. I've taken 85 plus damage from it. I don't know what the actual max is, but it can easily one-shot you. So you want to be hiding behind the pillar when that happens. And then the only other thing that he's going to do, he will occasionally throw out acid. So when he does that, or when you hear the sound, you just run to the other side. That's all you do. So you do the whole fight from one of these 2 tiles. That's it. There are other mechanics. He has a magic attack that he does if you're out of melee range. For example, this tile is out of melee range, or if you're anywhere else in the room. That magic attack hits through your mage prayer. And they're, so the fight can be a little more complicated if you're doing other methods. But if you're doing this, it is easy. All you do is you take a little bit of chip damage from the ice that comes up. And that's pretty much it. And there's plenty of time to heal when he does his eye animation or other attacks. So yeah. All right, so I'm going to start by healing up because I'm dumb and stood in the acid. So I will heal up and I will overheal. Now for prayers, my quick prayers, I have protect from melee and piety. So I'm going to sip a stamina. I'm going to sip a super combat. I'm going to equip my BGS and use both potions on him. Once that happens, he'll wake up. I will spec him, hide behind the pillar, wait for him to attack. Do another spec. I got some good hits, so this should be a good fight. And you just keep doing that. Every time he slams, you attack. Click back. Attack. Hide. Attack. hide. Just do that. So here he's doing the eye thing. So I just hide behind the pillar. And then I go back into attacking. Now, soon he's going to do the acid. When that happens, I'm just going to run here. And rinse and repeat. That's really all you have to do for this fight. Now, you can get a little fancier. But like during the eye attack, I could get an attack in. See, because I'm behind the pillar when the animation ends. So I don't take any damage. So there's time to get an attack in there. And then when he does the acid, there's also time to get an attack in while you're running across. So I'll do that. And I can still get back into cycle. Didn't want to risk it there. So like I was saying, with Arclight, you have a little more wiggle room. Because I believe he's on like a 5 or 6 tick cycle. So with Fang being a 5-tick weapon, the timing is a little tighter. Arclight being only 4-tick, you have plenty of room to make mistakes. Alright, so my prayer's getting a little low. I'm going to sip a prayer pot and just get back into it. I'm actually not hitting very well, despite those 2 decent BGS hits. I guess neither of them are that huge. Only landed a 39. But if you hit really good BGS specs, you can get pretty fast kills. 2 to 2.5 minutes is totally possible. So during that eye attack is a really good time to heal up if you're on low health. You can also heal up when he does the acid attack and you're running to the other side. Either of those methods you won't miss much DPS. You're worried about staying at full health. So like I'll eat here and I can easily attack again after the eye animation. And that's pretty much the fight. This boss has some decent drops. You could get the, I believe it's the magus vestige, which can get you the new mage ring. You can also get an upgrade for your ancient sceptre that makes your freezes like 10% more likely to hit. And I believe you can get the new mage armor. So that's a fight. I just did 1 KC for this video, but you can probably get up to probably 10 kills per trip if you are, you know, not making mistakes. But for a beginner, you know, probably get 1 kill your first few trips, but then getting 2 to 3 kills per trip is pretty easy. That shouldn't really be a problem. So that's the fight. You only really take the chip damage and pretty easy to farm. So good luck. Hope you get some good drops or you're able to complete the quests a little easier. Thanks for watching. Hope this helped. Yeah. Good luck. Have fun.